बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। कराची के शोबे तबियात और कराची फिजिक्स सोसाइटी के इश्तराक से मुनक़िद होने वाली ये इल्मी नशिस्त असर हाज़िर में एक नहायत अहम और हसास मौजू को मरकज़े देखा बनाती है। ये मौजू महज जदीद टेक्नोलॉजी की वजाहत नहीं, बल्कि इस बुनियादी सवाल से जुड़ा है कि जब मसनूई ज़हानत खुद मुख्तार फैसले करने लगे तो शफ़ाफ़ियत, अखलाक़ियात और इंसानी एतमाद को कैसे बरकरार रखा जाए। ये अमर हमारे लिए खुसूसी मुसरत का बाइस है कि इस नशिस्त के मुक़र्रर खुसूसी डॉक्टर नदीम काज़ी हैं, जो न सिर्फ आलमी सतह पर मसनूई ज़हानत के मुमताज़ मुहक़्क़िक़ और उस्ताद हैं, बल्कि इसी जामिया कराची के साबिक़ तालिब इल्म, हमारे क्लास फेलो और देरीना दोस्त भी हैं। तो मेरे लिए ये बड़ी खुशकिस्मती की बात है कि मैं उनका तारुफ आप लोगों के सामने पेश कर रहा हूँ। उनकी ये वापसी एक फ़र्द की नहीं, बल्कि एक इल्मी रिवायत की वापसी है। वो रिवायत जो इस जामिया से निकल कर आलमी इल्मी मंजरनामे पर अपनी शनाख्त कायम करती है। डॉक्टर नदीम काज़ी इस वक्त यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ ईस्ट लंदन में एसोसिएट प्रोफेसर बराए मसनूई ज़हानत के तौर पर खिदमात सर अंजाम दे रहे हैं। कई यूनिवर्सिटीज़ में, यूरोपियन यूनिवर्सिटीज़ में विजिटिंग स्कॉलर हैं। 2 दहाइयों पर मुश्तमिल इनका इल्मी सफ़र बरतानिया, यूरोप और एशिया के मोतबर तालीमी और तहक़ीक़ी इदारों तक फैला हुआ है। इनकी तहक़ीक़ जदीद मैदानों पर मुहित है। ख़ास बात यह है कि उनका काम महज नज़रियाती नहीं, बल्कि हकीकी दुनिया के मसाइल जैसे जराइम का तज्ज़िया, इंटरनेट ऑफ थिंग्स, सिक्योरिटी, सेहत के शोबे और डिजिटल फॉरेंसिक्स में अमली इतलाक़ रखता है। यही खुसूसियत उन्हें एक ऐसे मौक़िफ़ के तौर पर मुमताज़ करती है जो तहक़ीक़ को समाजी असर से जोड़ता है, और यही बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट बात भी है। डॉक्टर नदीम काज़ी ने क्रैनफील्ड यूनिवर्सिटी UK से मशीन लर्निंग में PhD की और मुख्तलिफ इदारों में तदरीसी तहक़ीक़ात खिदमत अंजाम दी। जैसे कहा गया, यूरोपीय यूनियन के बड़े तहक़ीक़ी मनसूबों में उनकी क़यादत के नतीजे में डीप फेक वीडियोज़ के हल सामने आए। AI की शनाख्त, अल्जाइमर की तशख़ीस के लिए मल्टी मॉडल सिस्टम्स और दीगर इनकलाबी मामलात, इनकी तहक़ीक़ ने न सिर्फ कई मिलियन यूरो की मुसाबक़ती फंडिंग हासिल की, बल्कि आलमी तहक़ीक़ी ताउन को फ़रोग़ दिया। MSc तलबा के लिए बिला मुआवज़ा तहक़ीक़ी मौक़े पैदा किए और आला दर्जे के बैनुल अक़वामी जराइद में अशात की सूरत इख्तियार की। इन खिदमात के एतराफ़ में उन्हें बावक़ार एज़ाज़ से नवाजा गया। बतौर मुक़र्रर डॉक्टर नदीम काज़ी आलमी फोरम्स पर कलीदी खिताबात और वर्कशॉप दे चुके हैं, और जामिया कराची की खुशकिस्मती है कि वो यहाँ मौजूद हैं। सबसे पहले तो मैं आपको बताता चलूँ कि जब डॉक्टर साहब का मुझे मालूम हुआ कि यहाँ मौजूद हैं और मैंने उनको फ़ोन किया, तो उन्होंने और कोई दूसरी बात नहीं की। हालांकि मुझे मालूम था कि बहुत मसरूफ़ हैं, मुख्तलिफ़ जगहों पे इन्वॉल्व हुए हैं, लेकिन उन्होंने सिर्फ मुझसे पूछा कि कौन सी तारीख़ और कौन सा दिन, और बस। तो डॉक्टर साहब के लिए भरपूर तालियों की गूंज में हम बुलाते हमारे अपने नदीम काज़ी साहब, डॉक्टर नदीम काज़ी।
थैंक यू डॉक्टर साहब। ये आला मेरे पे भी लगाइए
सर। ये लगाना पड़ेगा, इसके बगैर वो ज़्यादा नहीं है सर।
अरे सही है। हेलो हेलो, आप लोग मुझे सुन सकते हैं? ओके, थैंक यू वेरी मच डॉक्टर, फ्रेंड, प्रोफेसर, चेयरमैन इंतखाब उल्फत साहब। Before I start, I really wanted to start with a very emotional note, because what is coming in my mind at the moment is a very nostalgic song of 70s that says something like this: ये तो वही जगह है, गुजरे थे हम जहां से. While looking at your faces, I can recall my days with him, with other friends. I can still recall that this was my place where we used to sit, and this was the place where Sir Arif Kamal, Riyaz Hashmi, and many others of their specialization in their own fields used to give the lectures. And today it's really a great honor, pleasure, emotional as well, that I am here to share my work with you and to give you some idea about AI. Not only about the AI, I would give you or attempt to give you the journey that AI has taken since its birth. Because what happened is that while I was doing my PhD sometime back in 2010 from UK, AI was in a process of developing its shape. I started my research on the basic machine learning bit. But before this, yeah, this is me. After doing my PhD from the Cranfield University, I have been associated, as Intikhab Fatah said, in many organizations. I have worked for EU, where my work was mainly on the security side, NLP. I have been in universities such as Middlesex University, such as Brunel University, such as University of Ulster, and these days I am with the University of East London. Other than this, I'm also associated with the University of Essex, University of Liverpool, and many other universities. And I'm running my own research group, which is Intelligent Technologies. We are working. We don't mind if you can sit down, please. Sit down. Can we? Okay, so let's start it. You can see a slide there, but before I give you the definition of the AI, I know you are the young generation and you might be using more AI than I actually would be showing you here. So before we start, anyone here can say any application of AI that you are using or have used it, anything like this, anyone? Have you used any AI application these days or anything like this? Anyone? Say it again. Chat, very good. Anyone else? Huh? Deepfake. Why for? Huh? DeepSeek. DeepSeek. This part? Gemini. It's with a star. Okay. You? Group. So you mostly are using ChatGPT. Okay, or mostly you are using what you call it large language models in one or another form. So what do you think is AI? When someone says you AI or artificial intelligence, what you basically start thinking about? What is AI? Machine learning. Okay, this is one thing. And huh? No. Device. Anyone from this side? Neural network and algorithm. And so basically what you are suggesting or what you are saying is are the two. This is not AI. AI means the technology that we the human are using to mimic the behavior of the human so that machine can work like human. We as a human can see the thing. We as a human can speak. We can think. We can run. We can recognize the things. The idea is, can machine do it? And when we attempt to do this, we say we are working towards artificial intelligence. Because intelligence is what God has gifted us. With your intelligence, you can recognize, you can make decision. Artificial intelligence means that we want machine to do this thing for us. And this is where whatever you have said, someone has said neural network, someone said machine learning and things like that. These are the tools that we have or we are using it. Does it make sense? Yes? Now, the basic component which has given the birth of the modern AI is this part. which is ANN, and my PhD was on artificial neural network. This is a mimic or method or a mathematical modeling of your human brain. The way the human brain works, scientists has demonstrated this human brain in a form of a mathematical model, and we call it artificial neural network or artificial neurons. Most of you, I guess, are from the physics. So this means you know mathematics very well. So the way it works is that we have an inputs. These inputs are sum up. Then we applied a bias into it, and then we apply many mathematical functions. For example, sigmoid function. For example, tangent function. For example, rectilinear linear unit function. And this then give us an output. And then what happened next is that we make this neuron, connect this neuron into layers. So if you're looking at here, this is one layer of neuron, the orange one. The yellow one are the inputs. The another orange ones are the another layer of neuron. And this layers of neuron goes more and more and more. In this way, we create a artificial neural network. Now, this artificial neural network is used to understand the problem. This artificial neural network is used to make decisions. This artificial neural network is used to do something that human can do. But behind the scene, everything is mathematical. This model is working. This model is taking the input. This model is applying the mathematical function and giving you the output. And I will give a pause here because this is a moment of a pride for the physics. This year, Nobel Prize is given to a physicist, and the name of the person is John Hopfield. John Hopfield, along with another person, has worked on this artificial neural network, not now, some time back, because earlier what used to happen was that these neural network, they do not have a memory. You know, we have a memory. We can recall what happened in the past. But the neuron that was initially proposed, it didn't have any memory. So the John Hopfield, he has, using the physics concept, has produced a network that can actually memorize the thing. And on the basis of this, they were awarded a Nobel Prize in 2025. Now, coming back to what you have mentioned about the neural network, I would be going to give you a very quick understanding of machine learning. Anyone has got any idea, any thought, when someone says machine learning, what comes in your mind? When someone says machine learning, what comes in your mind? Huh? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I give you a joke. When I finish my PhD, I come back to this country sometime in 2012, and I started as an associate dean in Iqra University. So a student came to me and he said to me, "Sir, I want to do a PhD under your supervision." I said, "Fair enough, that's good." He said, "Sir, I want to do something in computer science." I said, "Fair enough, yeah, we can do it." And I said to him, "Okay, my work or my research area is in machine learning, so I will supervise you in machine learning." That man, or that boy went outside and he said to the other student, "यार मैं तो उनसे कंप्यूटर साइंस में करना चाह रहा हूँ, वो मशीन की बात कर रहे हैं." So machine learning is not basically something which is machine like cars or something. Machine learning means that can we make computer intelligent? Can we do something using the mathematical algorithms so that the computer can understand and can think and can process like a human can do? This is what the machine learning is all about. And most of you, because I understand you are a physics student, so my expectation is a little high. You might know something we call it continuous data, or we call as quantum data. The concept is coming from here. So if you look at the right hand side of my, I'm not sure how does it work. pointer कैसे चलता है? Yeah, okay, fine. So if you look at this part, this is what the machine learning is all about. On the left hand side, I have mentioned about two things, which is continuous data set and discrete data set. On here, I have defined what machine learning is made of. Machine learning is made of something called as regression. We will talk about this. It is made of something, we call it classification, something clustering, and something dimensional reduction. Coming back to the linear regression or a regression, let's say you want to do some, and this you already have done, I'm sure. If you are already doing mathematics, you know the curve fitting, don't you? Anyone knows the curve fitting? Yeah? You know the curve fitting? You are a professor, you know it. I'm asking about the students. Do you know about the curve fitting? Anyone here? No? Never did it? So what we do it in your school days as well, that you have a data set, you open the Excel sheet, you fit a data that bring a straight line, that is straight line using this line equation of line y equals to mx plus c, m is the slope, m2 minus m1, y2 minus 1 divided by x2 minus x1. This is the same thing. And using the regression, you can actually predict your grades based on your last grades. You can predict the house prices based on the last prices. This is machine learning. When you want to predict or forecast a very continuous type of a data set. For example, you want to forecast what would be the gold price in next few years. You are talking about the linear regression. For example, you are talking about what would be the prices or property prices in Pakistan next few years. You are talking about the linear regression. The other thing which basically makes machine learning more popular is the classification. So what happens in your linear regression? You talk about numbers. For example, the property would be 25,000. But for the classification, you don't talk about the numbers. You talk about the labels. Is it a male or a female? Is it a cat or a dog? Is it a bad boy or a good boy? When you talk about the categorization of the data set, you are talking about the classification. What I'm showing here is the traditional machine learning that originated sometime in 2010. Today's AI have this machine learning, but it is very advanced. Then the third part is clustering, where you ask computer, where you ask machines, can you please group the data? For example, if I want computer to group you based on your color, based on your gender, based on the language that you speak, then if the computer can do this, we call this algorithm as clustering algorithms. All these things are originated sometime in 2010 using multiple algorithms. Now, just to give you an idea that gives you how the machine learning works, you can see that these are my label data. Label data means I need to tell the computer what is the name of this data. For example, here, carrots, tomatoes, chilies. I define these things to the computer. These are the carrots, these are the chilies, these are the tomatoes. And then I provide a large amount of a data set to my algorithms so that this is for when you have a huge set of dimension. For example, when you are talking about stars or galaxies and you want to apply some kind of a algorithm using something called as principal component analysis, then this is another part of the machine learning part. The second is the clustering part, where you basically group the data. As you can see here, out of all this fruit, this algorithm has grouped the data into apples, into pears, and into something red. This is called as clustering. Again, this is where the AI started using some very traditional algorithms. Now, this is a general procedure that even today we use for AI. If you want to develop any algorithms, if you want to develop any AI forecasting algorithm, this is the thing that you would be using. You start from the data collection, but before the data collection, you actually justify what is the problem I am looking for. For example, you might consider to identify about the classification of this class, that who would be the A grade student in future or who would be the B grade student in future. This is your problem statement. Or you might consider to say who would be the successful or who would be the non-successful. Or you might want to do in your emails, what are my spam emails and what are my non-spam emails. These are all the examples of the problem statement. Once you understand the problem statements, then what you do is you collect the data. This is the part where all AI depends. You need to have a huge amount of a data set, and we will see what are the problems associated with this. Then you start doing some kind of an EDA or exploratory data analysis, where you need to know how my data works, what is inside, what are the hidden patterns in my data set is. Then comes the part where you start train or validate your model. But this part takes about the 75% of your time. This is the most important part of your algorithm development. If you do not do this part very cleverly, very professionally, this means this model cannot do anything for you. So the model part itself is about 10 to 15%. Most of the time, it is this part where you basically invest most of your work. And finally, once the model is developed, you test it, you validate it, and you deploy the model. So in this way, most of the AI development, algorithm development works, where you collect the data, you analyze the data, you train the model, and then you validate the model. Now, what happens? As I mentioned, sometime in 2010, machine learning was born. But sometime after like 4 or 5 years, the deep learning was born. And this is where the AI takes a boom. So the difference was the layers between the input and the output. Initially, it was believed that neural network, if we have only 3 layers, we can actually use these 3 layers to approximate any problem. But later on, it was proved that no, you can actually take more layers, and in doing so, you can do, or you can ask machine to do more work like human. This is where. वैसे तो मेरी आवाज ऐसी है कि बगैर माइक के भी चलेगा. Hello, can you all hear me now? Okay, so this is what we call as deep learning. If you look at here, these layers are called as hidden layers. In the initial slides, I have told you that there are feed-forward neural networks. So these are the layers of these networks. In modern AI, there are hundreds, 200s, thousands of such layers. For example, your ChatGPT that you are talking about, it has taken about thousands of these layers, which we call as hidden layers. And this is what we call as deep learning. So deep learning is basically a machine learning, but it has got more layers. It has got more connected neural network, more advanced algorithms. And what happens is that for the machine learning, you need to tell what features the algorithm should be using. But for the deep learning, the algorithm suggests itself what would be the possible features that the algorithm can extract from the data set. So this is very important. For example, let's say you have your image and you want to train the algorithm to show that this is a boy or this is a girl. You do not need to tell anything to the algorithm. All you have to do is just input the image, and the algorithm would decide itself what are the important features that is hidden. For example, the algorithm can say, oh, the eyes are important, or the nose are important, or the lips are important. So these are the features that the algorithm would be extracting itself. This is only possible when you are dealing with the deep learning. Machine learning was the baby that is now grown up to something called as deep learning. So if someone asks you, what is a deep learning? You may come up with a decision, with an answer that suggests that a deep learning have more hidden layer. A deep learning have got more feature extracting power than as compared to the hidden layers. These days, every AI part, every AI algorithm that you see either in the form of a ChatGPT or the Gemini or the image recognition or the speech recognition or the NLP, all of these models are using deep learning. One of the important reasons about the deep learning that it is being used is this part. This part. So what happens here is, if you look at this graph, you will see that I have made a red graph and a blue graph. So with the red graph, this is showing what happens to the accuracy when we are doing with the machine learning and what happens to the accuracy when we are doing the deep learning. As you can see that here, if you increase the number of the data set with the machine learning, initially the accuracy increases. But if you still increase the data set, the accuracy does not increase at all, rather it becomes constant, which means the accuracy is not getting improved while you are using the machine learning. But if you use here, if you increase the data, you can see that in the deep learning process, the accuracy is getting improved. So that is one of the reasons we use deep learning for the better accuracy, for the better performance, so that the machine can work more like a human with more accuracy. This is one of the main reasons that the deep learning is very common these days while you are solving the problems in artificial intelligence. I'm happy to answer your question. If you have any question, raise your hand and ask me any question. Okay, now one important thing I want to mention here is about, I'm sorry, I'm not very much, yeah, this one. I started my presentation with something called as artificial neural network that was sometime in 1950s. But since then, the great performance or the revolution that has come up in the AI is because of this algorithm, which we call as convolution neural network. Artificial neural network was a mimic of the brain. Convolution neural network is something that has improved that structure. And whatever you see these days in terms of image processing, in terms of image recognition, is because of this convolution neural network that was first originated sometime in 1990. If you are trying to solve any problem that involves graphics, that involves video, that involves image, your best bet is to use convolution neural network. Then this the same convolution neural network is then modified, and that gives birth to the long short-term memory, which means that now the neural network is able to recall what has happened in the past. For example, let's say you want to forecast the stock exchange price. If you want to forecast the stock exchange price, you need to know what is the price in last 30 days or what is the price in last year. You as a human knows it because it is here in a mind. But if you are using simple neural network, it doesn't have a memory. If you are using convolution neural network, it only understands the images. But here you are dealing with the data. This is where the LSTM, long short-term memory, works. And these are very common when you deal with something called as sequence data, where the data set is coming in sequence, and your best bet is to use the LSTM model. Then comes the Gen, which is the basic of generative AI, the one that you are using in your ChatGPT, generative AI. This Gen is called as Generative Adversarial Network, and that was sometime in 2014. And the very latest that is today common is called as Transformer. With the help of the Transformer, you can identify things such as your ChatGPT part in natural language processing. I would appreciate a little bit silence here, please. Now, just to give you an idea about the convolution neural network, a convolution neural network is made of many mathematical layers. The first layer we call as convolution. The convolution means that you have got a data set and you want to extract the feature from this data set using some kind of a convolution operation. So how does it help is that it basically provides you features which are very prominent in the images, and using these features you can use or you can develop an algorithm that can identify the images clearly. So here we have got here we have got the convolution work, and this convolution, as you can see on the green side, is basically you have got an image and you have got a lens. So what happens is the lens proceeds on each part of the image, and when it proceeds on the each part of the image, it extracts the important features in the image and it passes those features to the another layer which we call it pooling layer. Pooling layer basically minimize these things, and then the final features are obtained and then they are passed to the same neural network that I have discussed in the beginning of our talk. And this then neural network decide about either it's a classification or a clustering or anything like this. But the basic part here is the convolution part, which basically with the help of the convolution process extract the features from the data set. This part, if you can see this part, this is my image, this is my filter or a lens. This lens is placed on this image, and then we apply a convolution operation. This convolution operation then extract the feature from this image, and this feature set is then used to proceed so that the neural network can understand what's going on this image. And this, the last layer, if you look at the last layer, this one here, this is the layer which takes the features from this image and then train the model in order to understand if this image is a cat image or this image is a dog image or this image is a truck image or thing like this. So in today's AI, for the graphical data, for the image processing data, this is the base or algorithm that is used for identifying the images, for classifying the images, for clustering the images. The most common algorithm that is used is called as convolution neural network. So starting from the machine learning, we jump to the deep learning. Then in 2012, there was a lot of research going on. Many people were working on convolution neural network, and they started to work on a big, heavy sets of convolution neural network where they have used a lot of data set for the mostly entire objects in the world, and they have created many such algorithms which actually give birth to transfer learning. Let me explain you in a very easy way. Suppose you are here in a physics department and you had a lecture from Intakhab and you learned something about the statistical mechanics. Now you have learned something from the statistical mechanics. Now you went to a job and you are giving a problem which is related to the statistical mechanics, but not exactly what you mean to do. But what you will do, you will take the information that you have learned from here and apply that information to solve that problem. This is exactly what the transfer learning does. We have got many trained algorithms that can understand the images, but they might understand, let's say, vehicles, or let's say they understand the fruits. But let's say you want to apply or you want to recognize something in medical instrument, that if this is a particular type of MRI or if it is a particular type of non-MRI. It is not being trained on this data, but it has already got some information. So what you will do, you will take this trained data set and you retrain this data set on your data set, so that you will minimize the process of training, you will minimize the process of resource, and you will still have improved accuracy of the classification. So in today's world, most of the time what we do is there are many trained algorithm exist. One of the very common one is called as AlexNet. AlexNet is trained on hundreds of thousands of images. So you will take that algorithm and then you will take your data set, you will retrain on those algorithm so that algorithm would now start understanding your object. This is what we call as transfer learning. So we are here in 2023, starting from 1950 with the, yes please, you want to say something? Yeah.
Sir, as you said, the evolution near in the previous slide, that you need to train the image that from the, you need basically pixels to generate those pixels into numbers, and then you identify whether it's a boy or girl or anything. If the pixels values are changing with respect to time, or like it's a video, how do you
very good, very good question. I like the question. Very good question. So there are two things in the image. One we call as spatial changes. So a pixel is changing from one position to the another position. Okay, and one we call as temporal. Temporal comes in video. I am in one frame here. In my second frame, I would have some different condition. So what we do here is, there we use a convolution neural network that also incorporate time. Maybe we can use LSTM for that matter, or we can use three-dimensional convolution neural network. So depending on the nature of the problem, we choose appropriate algorithm. Okay, does it answer your question? Yeah. Okay, so starting from 1950, where a neural network was born, then moving towards the deep learning, where we have got many algorithms such as convolution neural network, recurrent neural network, LSTM. Sometime in 2010, we entered in 2016 something called as explainable AI. Before 2016, the AI was a black box, which just suggests this is male, this is female, this is cat, this is dog. But it does not explain why it is a cat, why it is a dog. We just believe, oh, 90% accuracy, it is telling me the right thing. Or 99% accuracy, it's telling me the right thing. But it does not justify. 2016 was the time when the AI researchers start thinking, no, we need something that, like a human, can tell us if it is a cat, why it is a cat. Because it has got 4 legs, for example. Or if it is a human, why it is a human? Because it has got 2 hands, for example. So in 2016, explainable AI came up, and it incorporate another layer into the AI, which basically make it easy to understand for the human, so that they can justify the decision that AI is making. And finally, sometime in 2018 is this thing, generative AI. This changed the world altogether. Up till now, what you were doing, you were just training the algorithm, forecasting the thing. Generative AI start generating the data. Before this, you were using the data for some kind of a modeling. But in the generative AI, you are generating the data itself. For example, you go to the ChatGPT and tell us, okay, tell me what is the weather today. It will understand your questioning of the things, and it is making the decision. It is doing nothing on its own. But now with the Agentic AI, and this is where some people says, or some people have put up a question, will the AI would replace the human because of Agentic AI? Because Agentic AI is that AI that can make the decision, that is autonomous, that is goal-oriented. It decides without the need of a human. This is something that I will be exploring in a minute. Okay, so from the 2024 onwards, most of the research is towards Agentic AI, where you just pass the data. Let me give you an example. Let's say you say, I want to go for a pizza. Now, this is the question you put up to the model. Now, the model will decide what are the pizza shops around. Now, model knows about you. Are you a miser, or you are a very kind of a generous boy? Okay, are you going on a date? Are you going with your friends? Thing like this. Based on this, it will decide automatically. It will not take your any input, because it has got a memory. And with the memory, it would say, oh, this person is used to go to this pizza shop. Let's take something from this pizza shop. If this pizza shop is closed, what is the next pizza shop he might go? What is the weather there? Is it easy to go? Or should I call, or should I book a drive-in or Yango thing? So everything would be done automatically by the agentic AI, which will be making decision on your behalf. Now, it is good, it is bad as well. Because there would be some scenarios where you don't want agentic AI to make decision itself. But there are the scenarios where agentic AI would be making the decisions. Okay, now at this moment of time, we divide AI into two main things or two main branches. One we call as weak AI, and one we call as artificial general intelligence or AGI. Weak AI is what exists today. There is nothing called AGI. This is the dream of the AI expertise. When we say narrow AI or weak AI, for example, how many of you use Spotify? Many of you might use Spotify for singing the song, isn't it? Okay. But can you use the Spotify for driving a car? No, because it is trained for suggesting the songs only. So weak or narrow AI means that you have an algorithm which are trained on a specific problem. You cannot change. You as a human, today you are doing MSc physics or MA mathematics or whatever, but tomorrow you decide, no, I don't like this subject, I want to go something else. You can start this because you have been given that ability to do this. So weak or narrow AI is confined, is constrained. It can only do what it has been trained. 99.99% of all the AI applications that exist today are weak AI. They are doing very good what they have been trained. Spotify can only suggest songs. It cannot cure cancer. Cancer medicals or cancer applications can only cure the cancer. It cannot suggest any singing or any songs because they have been trained on it. Now, talking about the artificial general intelligence or AGI, this is where the AI expertise or AI professionals are bringing human part into it. Can the AI algorithm itself start learning? I give an example. If you go to the Netflix, maybe that part would be very interesting for you. If you go to the Netflix, there is a movie here which is called as Tim. How many of you have watched this movie? So what happened there, the movie is about an AI researcher, a lady AI researcher. So she actually created a robot, and for the functions that the robot can perform in the home. And it is a humanoid robot which looks like a human. Now, this is a fictitious or fictional story. What happened next is that robot then start feeling something romantic about her master. This part you understand very well. So as the robot starts feelings, now this is where the AGI is coming. Now this robot start thinking like a human. He start thinking about his master. Then that lady is married to a husband. So this robot then plan a murder of the husband so that lady would be free from the murder and that robot can marry the husband. This is entirely about AGI, that the algorithm itself can decide, can learn. That's a very good movie. If you have a time, do watch it. But at this point of time, this is just a dream. We don't have any application that can do it. Can you suggest or can you name any application that you think is basically something towards the human? Anything? Your chat GPT can understand your language very well. So this is the first step toward the AGI, where it can understand the language clearly and can make the decision of its own. Today's AI or narrow AI, where we are going is this part. We have got the flying taxis. We have got the driverless cars. You know about the driverless cars very well. So this is where we are moving. And with the help of ChatGPT or large language model or the chatbot, we are now putting up a foundation stone which may lead us to AGI. Because if you think, if you are using the chatbot very clearly, you know that the chatbot can understand, can reason that thing. So this is the first thing that is moving on that part. Now coming back to the generative AI. To put it simple, if you write down a prompt on your ChatGPT and write down this thing, for example, you say that paint me a sunset over the Mars. When I did it, I get this image. So what you did, you just put up something there, which is called as prompt, and it generates the data. And in doing so, you can do whatever you want to do. But again, this AI or this part of the AI is ethically bounded. You cannot do everything here. For example, you cannot talk in detail about the religion because AI is following ethical boundaries as well. But this is what we call as generative AI. In generative AI, if you are very much interested about the generative AI, what you do is you have a prompts. In the prompts, you write down your questions. Behind the scene, those questions take it as a large language model. That large language model reasons your questions, go back to the website or Google, bring up your answer and put up your solution, the problem that you have asked. What do you think about this? What AI tool you might consider to use? This is the questions. You are going on a trip abroad. You know that AI can help you with a virtual assistant. It can translate the menus. For example, you are in some part of the world where you don't know the language. You want to change or convert the menus, or you want to summarize the blogs, or you want to have a recommendation of the most good tasty restaurants, and you want to use AI. Can you suggest any application that could do this job? ChatGPT हर जगह नहीं होती यार. Things Gemini, okay. Gemini भी वही है जो ChatGPT है. Anything else? DeepSeek भी वही है जो ChatGPT है. एक ही चिराग के सब परतू हैं. और Sorry. Meta AI. Okay, fine. Anyone else? You might have using. यार अगर यहाँ से कहीं और जाना हो तो क्या करोगे? I drive in UK. I don't know the route. The first thing I do is Google Map. Google Map. Okay. So this is again another AI part which can understand where you are, where you need to go. It defines a path for you. What else you can do? There are many things that you want to do. And Google Assistant you might consider. You consider Google Translate. You consider ChatGPT, yes. And you can also use a TripAdvisor that would recommend things. So the point I want to make here was that in the coming days, everything would be based on AI because now the speech is very common. Now the AI can understand your language. It can understand English. It can understand Urdu. It can understand anything that is spoken all around the world. So with the help of these kind of application, you can automate your system. And if you are planning to do a research work, if you want to write a paper, it takes ages. 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. Now with the help of this generative AI, in fact, you can write down the paper in 1 week or 1 day. There are tools available where you just need to write down what you are looking for and it can create the entire 16-page journal paper for you, but you need to check it out. Otherwise you would be caught. So the thing is, you can do the literature review with the help of generative AI. You can do hypothesis generation with the help of generative AI. You can do academic writing with the help of generative AI. And let me give you some tools for it. The tool that I usually use is Science Space. This is a very good tool. तशरीफ रखिए प्लीज. Okay, so we have got many tools today. One is called as Science Space, which is used for literature review. If you are planning to do a literature review, let's say generative AI, you can use this tool. Okay, and it will generate you a series of connected articles, and not only a series of connected articles, it would also generate a full-fledged with the references of complete literature review in just like 5 or 10 minutes. And you can use this thing, reread it, and then put up your own thoughts into it and generate a good literature review. The another one that I would like you, if you are into it, something called as Research Rabbit. Research Rabbit is another very good tool that you can use for the writing the research papers. It can generate not only the literature review, but also the hypothesis making. It can also generate the methodology for you. You can read this methodology and then decide whether this is what you are looking for or not. Then the last one is AvidNote. AvidNote is again a very good a tool for the paper writing, in fact for your exam writing as well. So all these generative AI tools can make your work easier and automatic if you want to do something on the literature or on the paper writing. Now, having said that, the question I want to put up, can you replace human? If you want to have a knowledge lies in Tahab Ulfat in his own domain, can you still believe on AI? Would you still believe on AI, or would you believe on him? Number one. Number two, if you believe on him, can you afford him? This is the question. If you still believe that, Intihab is some giant in its own field, and I don't think that AI is giving me the right answer, I need to go back to the Intihab and discuss this thing with him. Intihab says, oh, I'm very busy. If you really want me to work for you, you need to pay so much amount of money. He's like, so I can't do this. So what you will be doing? So the question is, human intelligence is very expensive, which is true, because there is a lot of human thinking going on. Okay, there's a lot of reasoning that Intihab has gone throughout his career, and when he gives you some conclusion, it is not just the LLM output. It is something that he has worked on, and he can give you. But it is very expensive, very expensive. You cannot. Other than this, other than the lecturer, if you go to the medical doctor, the higher or the experienced doctor is, the more fees he would charge because he is experienced. So the question is, can you make human intelligence cheaper? Can you make the human intelligence cheaper? Say yes or no. Say yes or no. Yes. We can make the human. Okay, please say how. By complicating the human force with AI. With AI. Anyone from this side? Someone say yes here. No, sir. No, you don't say. You change your mind. No, sir. We cannot make human intelligence cheaper. That's what you are saying, yeah? Okay? That one. But again, listen, this is very important thing. When you are training the system, it is giving you the more accuracy, more accurate. But let's say what happens is a new question comes up. Then what will happen? It is just confined to train on this part, on this data set. The data set that you generated, let's say from today's experiment. What happens if you bring the new data set that generate tomorrow? There you need to know a person who knows better than the trained model. So the right answer is no. We cannot make human intelligence cheaper. You're disgusting human. Okay? But what we can do is, we can make the AI cheaper. And how we can do this? Agentic AI. Because now the I think I do agree with you. I really do agree with you. Absolutely right. This is my take on the AI as well. To my understanding, AI will always be used to help the human, to automate the system. But it would never ever be able to replace the man, to replace the human. Because this nature, this world, this universe is created for the human. Okay? Yes, you need AI to make the work easier, to make the work more intelligent. But we need a human in the loop to decide the thing. Okay, I'm just wrapping it up. In the agentic AI, the very prominent figure we call is agent. For example, in your university life as well, if you want to do something, you ask someone to do something, and that someone does the work for you. Similar concept is in agentic AI. We have got multiple agents which are working together without the intervene of the human, and those agents are making decisions. Let me give you an example. These agents are autonomous, which means they don't need anyone. They will decide themselves without the need of any human. These agents are goal driven. They are working to achieve a particular goal. These agents can make decision. How many of you have heard the word Industry 4.0? Okay. In the world, at this moment of time, in the entire world, we are moving something called as Industry 5.0. We started with Industry 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. Can someone suggest what was the Industry 1.0? Industrial Revolution, absolutely right. Then comes the Internet Revolution. Okay. Then comes the IoT revolutions. Then comes the Big Data Revolution. So up till the Industry 4.0, we were connected towards an automatic system. We were connected with a system that can take the input from the sensors. We were connected to a system which were using the big data. But with the help of agentic AI, we are now marching towards, which is very common these days, very much in demand these days in the Europe, in the USA, which we call as Industry 5.0. So if you can see the Industry 5.0, the Industry 5.0 is based on human-machine collaboration. We are marching towards a world where the machine and the AI would be working together. Machine would be working for you. You would be looking at the work produced by the machine, deciding if it is needed or not. But let me tell you one more thing. What the sir has suggested is absolutely right. But as we are marching towards more intelligent world, unfortunately, the expertise that is required from the man is also very high. A simple teacher that tells you what is a neuron is no more needed. You just go there to the chatbot, ask the question in any language, it will tell you. So the people with the very, ordinary level of expertise would be taken over by the AI. But the people who have got critical thinking, people who can reason, people who can understand the problem would still be there to dictate the AI. And how would it be possible? The very important thing that makes difference a human to the AI is its reading ability. When you read a book, when you read a material, you as a human make decision out of it that actually nourish your brain. So these are the human that will be working with the modern AI to make the Industry 5.0 workable in an environment where machine and AI would be working together. Now, just to give you a very quick idea, and then I will tell you what I have developed using this our agentic AI work. The agentic AI work in a kind of a layered system, and it has got eyes, it has got ears, it has got hands, it has got brains. So when I use the word perception layer, these are the eyes and the ears of our agentic AI. Can you suggest what could be the component of the perception layer that can see or that can listen? What would it be? It would be sensors. Like you have got the sensors in your ear, you have got the sensors in your eyes. Similarly, the agentic AI would use sensors to take the data from the outside world. When it receives the data from the outside world in the perception layer, it processes this data into a reasoning layer, which is the brain of the agentic AI. It decides what needs to be done and then pass it to something called as action layer. Action layer is the layer which performs the thing like you, the human, do. And finally, there's the interaction layer where a human can collaborate these agents, dictate it, decide what need to be done. So the control is still with the is still with the human that can decide what the agent can do for him or her. So while you are doing the agentic AI, there are some challenges. And the most important challenge is, how do you fuse the data? How would you incorporate the data? What is the dimensionality of the data that you can handle? What are the models that you should be using? These are all the challenges that are there for the agentic AI. And the way we do it, let me give an example. Suppose you make a medical agent which works on Karachi data set. Now what happens is, you take this agent and go to the interior Sindh. And the agent is working on the healthcare of the people of the Karachi. Now when you take this agent back to the interior Sindh, do you think it will work or not? If it works, why? If it doesn't, why? Yes, someone says not. Why it doesn't work?
Data set differs.
Absolutely right. The data set not only differs, but it also biased towards the nature, the habits, the disease, the body structure of the Karachite people. So we want to make the agent which are global, that can understand the thing not in one place, but in the entire place. So this is where the biasness comes up. We need to make solutions that could basically solve this biasness in the data set. Okay. Now, as I mentioned to you that all of this AI that I was talking about was the black box AI. It is just giving you something which is there without explaining anything. For example, if you go to a bank and ask a credit card, it will always say either you are giving a credit card or your credit card is not given, but it will not give you any explanation. This is where we bring up another AI, and that AI is called as Explainable AI, which is transparent, which is accurate, which is interpretable, which is controllable, which is explainable. So what happened in the Explainable AI is that we incorporate that layer which explain the decision making of an algorithm, telling you why you are not given a credit card, because you might have something bad happen in your past. That's the reason it is not giving you the credit card. For example, if you apply a classification and it says that it is a butterfly or it is a cat, it will explain you it is a butterfly because it has got 2 wings into it, or it is a cat because it has got 4 legs into it. This is how the Explainable AI works. Now, coming up to the last part of my presentation, we have developed a cancer diagnosis system that can identify breast cancer as well as brain cancer. And we have done it with the help of agentic system. What we have done, we have made 2 classifiers. One identify if the input image is coming from the brain or if the input image is coming from the breast cancer tissues. Once it understands that if the input is coming from the breast cancer or the brain cancer, it decides what is the best model that can be used to recognize this cancer. And then it suggests that if this person has got the breast cancer or if this person has got the brain cancer. In doing so, it also explains the things to you. This is the algorithm that we have used, which is called as GaussianNet, and this is the very latest algorithm that is being used all around in the field of AI. We have accurately, I'm just moving it far quickly because I can see the time is up. So we have accuracy level of 99%, where we can rightly identify a breast cancer problem and a brain cancer problem with the help of this part. This is the accuracy result, the confusion matrix, and the accuracy curve. And this is the important part I wanted to mention before I close up my, because someone has asked me there, I think there was a person who was asking me that how would I decide. This is the explainable part. When a person say, when your algorithm says that this is a breast cancer or the brain cancer, can you see these yellow lines here? This yellow line is suggesting, on what basis the algorithm has made the decision. This is the explainable part of the algorithm. And with the help of this part, a person would satisfy, or the doctor would satisfy, that if this system is suggesting that this is a cancer, a brain cancer or a breast cancer, then why it is so. So because now he has got the reason behind this justification. We also have done something on Alzheimer disease, which is basically a disease which is very common in Europe, where a human basically forget their memory. And there are very late stage people who don't have any memory there. So what we are doing, we are using multiple data sets, we are fusing the data set, and we are making an algorithm that could early detect if a person may have a chance of dementia. Our system here, which is using multiple data, fusing it into an agentic system and identifying the Alzheimer disease in advance. This is our system. Okay, so my current research is based on healthcare, cybersecurity, deepfake videos, and all of these are based on Agentic AI. That's all from my side. I'm happy to answer any question that you may have. Any questions?
नवीद इसके साथ देना है, जो भी मांग रहे हैं ये भी साथ देना, ये तुम ले
आपको करने का सवाल।
Yes, anyone has got any question? Yes, please. वालेकुम सलाम।
आपने मशीन लर्निंग और डीप लर्निंग दोनों का आपने जिक्र किया। अगर मेरे पास कोई चॉइस हो दोनों में से एक को सीखने की, तो मतलब
डीप लर्निंग वजह की है कि स्टार्ट हमने मशीन लर्निंग से किया था, ठीक है। जैसे जैसे आप आगे जाते हैं ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम्स आती हैं, ठीक है। तो मशीन लर्निंग वाज द स्टार्ट। इफ़ यू एज अ स्टूडेंट वांट्स टू स्टार्ट योर AI जर्नी, I would highly encourage you to go for a deep learning. And दो तरह की बातें होती हैं। एक तो ये कि जैसे मैंने कहा कि कोई भी प्रोफेसर होता है तो उसके पास काफ़ी इंफॉर्मेशन होती है, क्योंकि उसके पास एक खासा मवाद है जिसकी बेस पर भी डिसीजन लेता है। आप पढ़ सकते हैं, मशीन लर्निंग पढ़ सकते हैं, पढ़ना चाहिए, लेकिन आप जो भी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करना चाहते हैं वो आप डीप लर्निंग को फोकस करते हुए कीजिए। क्यों? क्योंकि ये ही बिगनिंग है। अब डीप लर्निंग के बाद डीप ट्रांसफर लर्निंग के बाद जनरेटिव AI के बाद एजेंट। If I am you, what I will be doing? I will start my path reverse. I would not go to the deep learning directly. I might go to the Agentic AI. Why? Because you need to go with the flow. The outside world is moving very fast. So I would suggest deep learning. Yes, sir.
Very illuminating lecture, and you have covered so much, and inshallah after the lecture we'll exchange our WhatsApp numbers. And in cybersecurity, in healthcare, image processing, and you'll be happy to know that my PhD is also in the neural systems.
Very good.
And where I have modeled this neuron synaptic system, which has got the matrix 10, which is of the order of 10 raised to power 16 by 10 raised to power 16. At that time when we started in 1987, this problem, the fastest supercomputer in the world, Cray XL3 at Los Alamos Laboratories, was not able to write this thesis. And you will be surprised to see that I have solved this problem analytically in this very department of physics.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
So I would just like a comment now. These things we will talk about later, and once we have got the WhatsApps. Right now I have got the comment. There has been so much of the concern these days that the AI bubble would burst, that the AI would take up the humans, the AI would take up the jobs of the people, which has been a matter of a lot of discussion with the chat boards and so on in the CNN and so probably I would like you to comment on that.
Thank you. इंशाल्लाह।
Normally, the humans are accountable and responsible for their acts.
Yes.
But in case of AI,
It
you
is
were
very-
talking about the movie, the harm. If some harmful act is done by the AI, who is?
This is a very
who will
good
be the
question. This is a very, very good question. Very good question. And the debate is going on it. Is it the algorithm writer who is responsible, or is it the censor who is responsible? At the moment, there is no clear answer. That depends on the. For example, there is a very common or very prominent debate. Let's say you are going on a driverless car. Okay, driverless car sees a dog crossing the road, and a boy crossing the road, and it has just one option. क्या तो वो कुत्ता बचा सकती है, वो बच्चा बचा सकती है, किसे बचाना चाहिए? These are something where the researcher are now thinking ethically, and this is very open. There's no right or wrong answer at this moment of time. Okay, yes. नहीं, मुझे नहीं लगता. Kidding.
AI उन लोगों को देना चाहिए जिनको पहले हम सिखा दें।
AI को क्या करना चाहिए?
कि AI इस्तेमाल करने की इजाजत उनको दी जाए कि जिनको हम पहले सिखा दें, क्योंकि
अच्छा।
मैं पिछले 2 साल से यूज कर रहा हूँ
AI को.
जी।
ठीक है।
अगर मैं आपसे ये कहूँ कि मैं फर्स्ट ईयर के स्टूडेंट को फाइनल ईयर के क्वांटम मैकेनिक्स की क्लास में बिठा दूं, तो मुझसे क्या सवाल करेगा? वो फर्स्ट ईयर वाले ही करेगा।
सही है।
तो मुझे ये चाहिए कि पहले मैं उसको वो चीज सिखाऊं ताकि वो उसका इस्तेमाल सही
अच्छा, मैं
तरीके से
इसका जवाब देता हूँ. मेरा बेटा वहीं पैदा हुआ, और वो जब 7 साल का था तो मैंने उसको एक आईपैड लाके दे दिया. मैंने उसे कभी नहीं सिखाया आईपैड, मगर आज वो मुझसे बेहतर जानता है आईपैड, और मुझसे बेहतर चीज़ें कर लेता है. आई हैव टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट. खुदा ने ये जो ह्यूमन बनाया है ना, इसको इतना कंप्लीट बनाया है, तुम इसे किसी इन्वायरमेंट में डाल दो, ये हमेशा सीख लेगा. दरवाजे बंद नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि हो सकता है तुम्हारे पास बहुत अच्छी नॉलेज हो. भाई बार बार खुदा इंसान क्यों पैदा करता है? कोई वजह होगी ना. तो ये जो इत्तकाई मराहिल है ना, ये हमेशा आगे जाते रहते हैं. मेरा नजरिया ऐसा है, इट इज ओपन फॉर ऑल. यू जस्ट कैन नॉट से नो, यू कैन नॉट डू दिस. नो, यू कैन डू दिस, बिकॉज जो इंसान का दिमाग है, जो खुदा ने बनाया है, वो ऐसा बनाया है कि वो हर माहौल में, हर प्रॉब्लम में अपने आप को एडजस्ट कर लेता है. और ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. देखो, फर्ज करो मैं 40 साल का हूं और मैं 40 साल की उम्र में एक चीज सीखता हूं, मेरे सीखने का तरीका डिफरेंट होगा. लेकिन अगर वही चीज एक 10 साल का बच्चा, फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आई थिंक यू आर जनरेशन Z, आई गेस. ओके, अभी तुम लोग का आर्टिकल छपा हुआ है जिसपे बहुत ज्यादा कहानियां चल रही हैं, तो तुम लोग के थॉट मुझसे बहुत डिफरेंट है. मैंने जब पहली मर्तबा कंप्यूटर सीखा था, यहाँ इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स लैब में सीखा था, और मैंने पहली मर्तबा उसको ऑन किया था. लेकिन जो तुम लोग मेरा ख्याल है 5 साल में या 6 साल की उम्र से चीजें यूज करते गए. तुम्हारा थॉट प्रोसेस बिल्कुल डिफरेंट है जैसे मेरा थॉट प्रोसेस है. तो माई अंडरस्टैंडिंग इज इट शुड बी ओपन फॉर ऑल. You cannot just, otherwise you would be someone different. Okay, yeah.
तो यहाँ पर भी मशीन लर्निंग मॉडल्स यूज होते हैं.
सही करें आप, बिल्कुल सही करें.
वो कैसे यूज होते हैं?
वो एक चीज़ होती है नेचुरल लैंग्वेज प्रोसेसिंग. तो होता क्या है कि जैसे जैसे आप, एवरीथिंग इज ओके देयर. आई हैव बीन लुकिंग एट यू and you guys are very, very, very disturbing, should I use the word. I'm talking to you too. Appreciate your silence, please. हाँ?
तो हमारे जो ये इंस्टाग्राम का जो रील्स वगैरह है, वो कैसे काम करती हैं? पीछे मशीन लर्निंग में एल्गोरिथम क्या है?
Huge set of natural language processing or large language models are working. So what happens is when the data set comes up, वो जो लार्ज लैंग्वेज मॉडल होता है अपने आप को रीट्रेन करता है. मैंने बात की थी यहाँ पर, ये जो ऑटोनोमस सिस्टम है, इनके पास एक मेमोरी होती है. मिसाल के तौर पे जब आप लिखते हैं कि आज मैंने लेट्स से इमरान खान पे एक आर्टिकल सर्च किया, वो आर्टिकल जो आपने सर्च किया है वो उसकी मेमोरी में जाके बैठ गया. ठीक है. अब जब आप जाके एक और सर्च करते हैं तो वो देखता है यार इसने लास्ट टाइम क्या सर्च किया था, फिर वहाँ से वो रीज़न करता है, और रीज़न करने के बाद ये जो नेचुरल लैंग्वेज प्रोसेसिंग होती है, ये हमेशा ये अटेम्प्ट करती है व्हाट वुड बी द सेकंड वर्ड. For example, I say I love. Now, when I say I love, second word could be Pakistan, second word could be you, second word could be many things. So, ये जो large language model होता है, ये second word predict करता है, और predict करने के लिए इसके पास सारा background, सारा context होता है.
तो ये जो चीजें टेक्स्ट में चल रही हैं,
टेक्स्ट में चल,
मशीन लर्निंग मॉडल्स तो नंबर्स पे काम.
वेरी गुड, बहुत अच्छा सवाल किया तुमने. हम एक चीज यूज करते हैं जिसे कहलाती है इनकोडिंग. सो इनकोडिंग में हम क्या करते हैं, उस टेक्स्ट को कन्वर्ट करते हैं नंबर्स में, और वो नंबर्स फिर जाते हैं एल्गोरिथम के अंदर. फॉर एग्जाम्पल वी यूज समथिंग कॉल्ड एज लेबल इनकोडिंग. लेट्स से हमारे पास चीज़ें हैं जिसमें लिखा हुआ है मंडे, ट्यूसडे, वेडनेसडे, थर्सडे, फ्राइडे. तो हमने कहा भाई मंडे जो है 1 होगा, ट्यूसडे 2 होगा, थर्सडे जो है वो 4 होगा. इसको हमने इनपुट कर दिया, तो वो अब समझ रहा है कि 1 जो है मंडे, 2 जो है ट्यूसडे, एंड इट्स गोज ऑन लाइक दिस. मेक सेंस? यस
सर, जिसमें लेकिन अगर मैंने फॉर एग्जांपल न्यू अकाउंट बनाया और AI डजंट हैव एनी कॉन्टेक्स्ट कि मैं
अब इसकी कहानी भी सुन लो. होता क्या है कि जब तुम जिस लैपटॉप पे बैठे हुए हो, उस लैपटॉप का एक आईपी एड्रेस है. उस आईपी एड्रेस से उसने सारी कहानी सेट की हुई है कि आदमी बैठता कहाँ पर है, किस किस साइट पर जाता है. ठीक है, उस साइट से वो पता लगा ले. जैसे मिसाल के तौर पर तुम फेसबुक पर हो, आज फेसबुक पे ड्यू टू एनी रीजन तुमने किसी साइट को क्लिक कर दिया. ठीक है, सेकेंड डे जब तुमने फेसबुक खोला तो उसमें बहुत सी चीजें उस जगह की आ रही होती. कैसे आ रही होती
तो इस चीज से हमारा सिक्योरिटी कंसर्न
है. आप यू आर एब्सोल्युटली राइट है. बल्कि अभी मैं आपको बताऊं, एक जब ये डोनाल्ड ट्रंप की कहानी है, लास्ट टाइम जो फेसबुक वाला है, इसने पूरा डेटा सेट चुराया था फेसबुक वालों का. ठीक है, कैम्ब्रिज के अंदर. ठीक है, और उस डेटा सेट की बेस पर लोगों को कंपेन किया था, और इसमें बाद में बहुत ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट हुआ. तो ये है, ये एथिकल प्रॉब्लम है, आपकी सिक्योरिटी डेंजर है. इसीलिए मैं जनरली सजेस्ट करता हूं कि आज के दौर में इंटरनेट यूज करना इज वेरी 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 डेंजरस बिकॉज ऑफ द डीप फेक, विच इज माई नेक्स्ट टॉपिक. एनीथिंग कैन हैपन, सो यू नीड टू बी वेरी केयरफुल अबाउट इट. यस.
अच्छा, इसमें लास्ट टाइम एक लेक्चर हुआ था, उन्होंने भी थोड़ा बहुत AI का बताया था. उसमें उन्होंने कहा था कि बहुत ज्यादा जो डेटा होता है कई बार डिल्यूजन क्रिएट करता है.
यू आर राइट. दिस इज वन, हम बोलते हैं हेलुसिनेशन. ये होता यह है कि जब लार्ज लैंग्वेज मॉडल वर्क करता है तो वो मतलब अपने आप में खो जाता है कहीं पर. उसके आंसर जो होते हैं और जो उसकी रीजनिंग प्रोसेस होती है वो गलत हो जाता है. तो ये क्वाइट पॉसिबल है, होता है, और उसके लिए काम हो रहा है, एक्यूरेसी इंप्रूव कर रहे हैं. एनीवन एल्स? यस प्लीज. यस. You have got a very good man there as the chairman of physics department. But having said that, I would encourage you. कल या पता नहीं परसों मैंने एक आर्टिकल पढ़ा है उसमें, और वो किंग्स कॉलेज के बंदे ने लिखा है, और उसने बहुत सही लिखा है. उसने लिखा है वो जमाना गुजर गया जब हम डिग्री की बेस पर जॉब ले लिया करते थे. इट्स ओवर. यूं समझिए आप यूके में हैं, लंदन में 7, 8, 9, 10 यूनिवर्सिटी हैं, किंग्स कॉलेज से भी बच्चा निकल रहा है, UCL से भी बच्चा निकल रहा है. तो भाई किसको नौकरी दें? आज का दौर है एक्सपर्टीज का. तो मैं आप लोगों को सजेस्ट करूंगा, आप लोग, मुझे बड़ी अच्छा लगता है हमारे स्पेशली कराची के लड़के जो हैं ये बड़े एक्टिव हैं. बहुत ज़्यादा सर्टिफिकेशन मौजूद हैं, गूगल की मौजूद हैं, और क्या कहते हैं वो कौन सा एक और काफ़ी हैं, AWS की हैं. मैं आपको सजेस्ट करूंगा आप क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग के सर्टिफिकेशंस को लीजिए. अच्छा, एक और मैं आपको बताऊं, AI ने भी बड़ी फेजेस ली हैं. आज की AI इज नॉट व्हाट आई हैव मेंशन इन टर्म्स ऑफ मशीन लर्निंग. आज की AI क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग पर है. आपको स्टार्ट यहां से करना चाहिए. जब आप क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग को AI से लिंक करेंगे तो आप राइट पिच पे स्टार्ट ओवर करेंगे. डू नॉट स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द 2010. यू सी, एवरी टाइम ये बड़ी तेजी से चेंज होने वाली फील्ड है. अगर आप कहेंगे नहीं मैं पीछे से पकड़ूंगा ना, आज से पकड़ो. मैं आप लोगों को 3 चीजें सजेस्ट करूंगा अगर आपने स्टार्ट करना है अपना करियर. गो टू द क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग बिट, go to the AI with the cloud computing, and go to the big data. These are the 3 things that will help you to get a good job in the, and very importantly, though I know चैट जीपीटी से तुम सारा काम कर सकते हो, लेकिन एक बात याद रखो, अगर तुम्हें प्रोग्रामिंग नहीं आती तो चैट जीपीटी कुछ नहीं कर सकता.
प्रोग्रामिंग के लिए कौन सा पाइथन
है? पंजाबी.
डॉक्टर साहब, थैंक यू वेरी मच. डॉक्टर साहब, आई एम रियली सॉरी टू इंटरप्ट यू एट दिस पॉइंट. मेरा ख्याल है कि बहुत तवील गुफ्तगू हुई है और बहुत इंटरेक्टिव सेशन रहा. I really feel proud that I invite Dr. Qazi here. और ये तो इनका अपनी जगह है, बल्कि हमारी अपनी जगह है,
हमारा मैका है,
जो मेरा ससुराल और मैका दोनों. तो
हमारा होते रह गया.
Basically, with this, I would like to end up. वैसे दिल तो नहीं चाह रहा कि बात को खत्म किया जाए, but it's important that most of you have actually be engaged in this talk. And of course, काजी साहब जब बात करते हैं तो बहुत इंगेजिंग होती है आमतौर पर, ये गुफ्तगू जो है खूबसूरत होती है। और जैसे डॉक्टर साहब ने कहा कि भाई इंसान तो हमेशा इंसान रहेगा, लेकिन बस वही बात है जो डॉक्टर रिजवान ने कही कि हिंसा के लिए बहुत मशीनों की मोहब्बत, एहसास मुरव्वत को कुचल देते हैं हालात। तो हमें बस इस चीज़ को बचाना है कि किस तरह से हम इस बैलेंस को कायम करें। एंड आई होप पीपल हु आर वर्किंग इन दिस फील्ड, दे आर कीपिंग एन आई, अ वेरी क्लोज आई ऑन दिस एस्पेक्ट एज वेल। हमारा एक ट्रेडिशन है, डॉक्टर साहब को शुक्रिया अदा करने के लिए हम एक टोकन ऑफ एप्रिसिएशन है डॉक्टर साहब, आपकी नजर करेंगे तो हम केपीएस के सबसे सीनियर नुमाइंदे जिस वक्त मौजूद हैं वो none other than Arif Kamal sahab.
It's really an honor. It's really an honor to be with Dr. Professor Arif Kamal. Thank you, sir.
शील्ड बनाइए सर, इस दफा अच्छी वाली है बहुत।
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
And there is also one more tradition, डॉक्टर साहब, आप हमारे साथ आएंगे अपनी